Welcome to the 98 Central podcast, where we talk about growing a business, working in media, and building a team that we love. I'm Danielle. I'm our intern here at 98 Central, and I'm going to be talking with Nicole, our junior editor and podcast producer, podcast queen, and Sara, Beth, our producer, about their careers, how they started, how they ended up here, and what made them want to work in media. So Nicole, talk about what made you want to work in media, what you majored in college, and like sort of how you ended up here at 98 Central.
Yeah. So growing up, I wanted to be an artist. But then like as I got older, I just found out that like painting with mediums like brushes and pencils, like that, it did not work for me. And then later on, I guess maybe in high school, I was introduced to photography and graphic design. Mm-hmm. So I thought, oh, like this is a different form of art. And I just really fell in love with it. I majored in digital media. So it's kind of the major itself was like a hodgepodge of different things. So it talked about, they taught about graphic design, a little bit PR and communications, all that stuff. And I really liked that major because I got like the arts aspect that I wanted, but it was a communications degree. Mm-hmm. So I knew I could do more with it after college. But it wasn't until I started college I was introduced to production work. So pre-production, live production, post-production, everything that is involved with it. And I just fell in love with it. I loved that you could tell stories. I've always enjoyed working behind the scenes, mm-hmm. And being a part of a team like that. So I just fell in love with it. And then after college, I knew what I wanted to do with production. I knew what I didn't want to do with production, but I didn't know exactly what it looked like for me. So I graduated last year. So all summer long, I really wanted to do production related work, but I knew finding a graphic design job was probably a little bit easier. So mm-hmm. I just searched for that all summer last year, and I just could not find any jobs. And then it wasn't until last September, John and I are part of the same Facebook group. We both went to North Greenville, and he posted on there that they were looking for contractors to help with their podcast services here at 98 Central. So I applied for that. So that's how I ended up here. I started as a contractor, and I did that for a couple of months, and then it was back in March I became full-time. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I love what I do here. It's fun.
Yeah, great. Sara, Beth, I know you have a little bit more of a journey to talk about.
It's a nice way of calling older.
No.
Yeah, so back when I started college, Jacksonville University down in Florida, it was the mid-90s. Uh-huh. Advertising looked a lot different then. Of course, social media wasn't even a blip on the radar. I just gotten my first email address. No cell phones. Mm-hmm. Everything was different. And so, but I was one of those kids that knew what I wanted to do for, as an adult for my career from a very early age. And so I went to school, majored in communications, mm-hmm. and I specialized in advertising and public relations. They weren't separate fields in the school system, at least at the time. So by my senior, they were separated. So, I was taking advertising classes with freshmen, intro to advertising, which was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I was learning some new things, but hearing stuff I'd already learned. So after school, through internships, I'd gotten jobs on the client side, as we say, nonprofit, and then another job that I took in North Carolina. But I knew I always wanted to be in an agency. And so I got a call one day about a job at an agency here in Greenville, and I wasn't even sure what the job meant. Mm-hmm. And, my now former boss had said, "Do you know what traffic is?" And I had this little moment where I thought, just lie. And then I said, well, she's calling me, so that must be a good thing. So I just kind of said, well, I know I'm familiar with the term. I really don't know what it means. And so she explained it. And I think within a couple of weeks, I was moving to Greenville and started that job. And just over the last 19 years, I've worked in different agencies in town doing that traffic and project management, which led me to experience in account service, which wasn't really my thing. I needed that creative part to kind of just feed my soul. But I'm also very into the details. And so one of the agencies I was working at, I think it was probably like 2007, they were doing a commercial. And so I asked my boss if I could come and just check it out. And not only was I just amazed with the production process, it was also the details where they had crafty and it was like sunblock and bug spray. And I'm like, wow, they really thought of everything. How do you know to do all this? But it was pretty much like then I was sold. So eventually I kind of became this print producer and then producer for photography and video shoots. So just agency side producer. But the more I did it, and then really having COVID hit and not being able to do all the production things that I was used to, just made me realize how much I missed it. And I wanted to make that my primary area of focus. And so saw there was an opening here and applied and crossed my fingers. And here I am.
Now you're here.
Yeah. Trying to sum up a 20-plus year career.
I think you did a great job.
2 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how you mentioned like the details of like craft services, whatever. Like I think that sort of thing is also sort of what drew me to video production, is like so many things that you don't think people think of, and it all comes together to like create a beautiful final product. So we're here to talk about careers because it's graduation season and I'm a college student, and I'm obviously an intern here, so I'm learning from each and every one of you. And there's so much about career paths that is, I don't know if it's like misconstrued or like there's just sort of these expectations to have like this linear career of like you go to college, you major in the thing that you're going to get a job in, and then you work your way up, and then you are super happy in whatever you're doing. It seems like you had like a little bit like a pretty linear journey, but then you realized like what you wanted to focus on, which is interesting. And then Nicole, of course, like you wanted to work in production and now you're working in podcast production. So it seems like you guys sort of had more of like a traditional route. But what advice would you have like for college students who are like maybe a little bit unsure of what they want to do, and like, or they're unsure like if what they're majoring in is like what they're really passionate about? Do you have anything to say?
You want to start with me?
I guess I'll start real quick. I would just say take advantage of internships. That's a great way to learn. I mean, you can't go in. I feel like you have had such a great experience, and it's likely, it depends on the field you're looking at, but you're able to get real hands-on experience. I had internships where I was stuffing envelopes and doing all those things. You have to be ready for those kind of tasks too, because you go into a team no matter where you are, how much experience you have, and you just you can't say that's not my job or I'm above that. Like you just that attitude won't work no matter what you do, where you are. But taking advantage of the internships, and like you said, my career path has been very linear. But once I got into the agency, over 19 years, there was traffic and project management, which are similar, but not exactly the same. But then going into being somebody's backup for print production and the account service, realizing that wasn't my sweet spot. I mean, that's 19 years. I mean, I knew before 19 years, but it took me a while to get there, and that's okay. And like I said, all I want to do is work in an advertising agency. And so I am so blessed to have those 19 years that I did. But, I just found like what was really feeding my soul and took a chance. And I'm so grateful I did. But so just the advice would be it's okay. If you want to, feel things out, you're going to realize what you like, what you don't like. And that's an opportunity to be exposed to real world experience. And when you're in the internship, ask for those opportunities, ask for that experience, ask if you can watch. Even if you don't do a lot, that's how I got into the video thing. I said, can I come to the set and just see how this works? So you're not, you may not be doing something or have a specific task, but you're being exposed, and that exposure can make all the difference in the world.
So helpful, yeah. I didn't know exactly what to expect when I started interning here. And I'm the first intern, so I don't think anyone knew what to expect. But when I started here, like the main thing that I wanted to do was get on set. And so thankfully I've been able to do that. And I've been able to do like a bunch of different things on set. And that's like my favorite thing in the world. But when I'm not on set and when I'm in the office, like every single person is willing to teach me something new, whether that's Kyle with something in social media or Jen with like, even I've asked her about script writing because that's definitely not my strong suit. And like just anything, any questions that I have, like people are willing to answer them. And I think you'll find like the best people in their field, like the best experts, like they're always willing to share what they know. And if you're around those people, like just ask questions, like, and the worst thing that can happen is like, they don't have time to answer it, but that usually doesn't happen, or they're just like not nice people, which that's not your problem, that's theirs. I think every single person that I've worked with at 98 Central, whether it's like our full-time employees or people that we work with on set, they're always willing to help me with anything. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're not sure what you want to do, or if you are sure what you want to do, but you know that you don't know the answers to the questions that you want to one day know the answers to. Like, for example, I know that I want to work with cameras, but I don't really know much. I know more now than I did 6 months ago, but like there's so much that I don't know. So I'm willing to ask those questions, and hopefully that's going to get me to the place that I want to be. And the other thing is like everyone had to do that, like to get to where they are. Everyone had to start from the bottom. So, you have to just like buckle down and like just, go through it. But yeah.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to internships, like I hope you take the time to find an internship that like is in your field and that you like. Mm-hmm. So, like if this is something that you want to do, you can gain experience through that.
Yeah.
But, like for me, I had to get an internship during COVID. So the internship that I had wasn't my first choice, but that didn't mean I didn't learn anything there.
Yeah.
I feel like, or I believe that like every job that we have is for a specific reason. And whether it's a job that you like or you don't like, you always take something away from it, whether maybe it's you work on your communication skills or you work on your people skills or whatever that case may be. I feel like nothing's wasted. So
totally.
Just always having like a teachable attitude.
Yes.
In those moments really plays out in the big picture.
Yeah.
So then like, maybe once you get to the place that you've always dreamed of being, it's like you can take all of that knowledge and apply it then. It's like, this is, I went through all of that because to get here.
Totally.
And then I think it was mentioned on previous episode about mentorship. And then like through that experience, you can like mentor other people and like, hey, like, let me come alongside you and help you get here. So
yeah.
Totally.
I think that's really important what you mentioned about like every job being helpful in some sort of way. Like it's only really now that I've had a job or an internship or anything in what I actually want to do. But like even I still work at a bar like some weekends. But like in my college town in Clemson, and even that, like it teaches you how to multitask. It teaches you how to talk to people. Like sometimes we're working and it's so busy. I mean, anyone who works at a restaurant would know that. Like you just get like slammed and you have to just like problem solve on the spot and like collaborate with people. And you wouldn't think that would translate to maybe like a film set or a video production.
But it does.
Set. But it does.
Yeah.
Because everything about being on set is problem solving.
Yeah. And wearing multiple hats at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And collaborating and like working with people. I think that's what drew me to it. And the first place was I was on dance team in high school, and the collaborative environment, like just going in to practice and just kind of like putting yourself at the door and now you're working with a group and you're trying to find that like symbiotic sort of relationship, if that's the right word. And it's like the same thing on a set. Like you're trying to find that rhythm and that like ability to like anticipate, each other's movements and like help each other and, like I said, problem solve.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this might come in like a later question, but I feel like when it comes to interns and internship, like there's always like this stereotype of like, oh, they're just a college student, they're just the intern. But I feel like if interns come in, and I've seen you do this, and you've done a great job at this.
Thank you.
But I feel like if interns, when they come into a workplace, and they don't see themselves as just a college student or just the intern, but they see themselves as part of the team, they, again, like going back, they gain a more teachable attitude. And I think if you have that mindset, you'll apply at your job more.
Totally.
And then like, you can, by the end of your internship, like you can look back and say like, man, I did a really good job. Like I'm really proud of myself for doing that.
Totally.
And I think that really builds your self-confidence, and that's like a springboard to going into the workplace and taking that attitude and those skills, to your future jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'd say to that end, I just want to say, as an employer looking for interns, you can't think of it like, you're helping a college student out. This college student may get credits, may get paid, may not. But, I think going through a real interview process, because that's how you're going to weed out the best candidates and find out, who's really taking it seriously or who's trying just to fulfill a requirement for graduation. But, and it's also a good practice for the students because they're getting that experience of interviewing and how to be professional and everything. So, it's very twofold in that respect as well.
Yeah. And I would just say, like, I'm lucky here that, like, you guys view me as a team member more than just an intern, because I think that, of course, helps. Like, like I said, I didn't know what to expect, but, like, I could easily just be getting coffee every day and, like you said, like, just filing paperwork, stuffing envelopes. And I'm really lucky that I'm not doing that. But even if you have to be doing that, to just like, like you said, take an opportunity to just like observe if that's all you can do, observe, ask questions, all that stuff. Yeah.
You've been a dream. I mean, I know I haven't known you as long as everyone else. But
you've gone
been
above and beyond in your job.
Oh my God,
yes.
thank you. This has been a dream for me. This is like the best thing ever. Yeah. So is there anything else that any other advice that you would have to college students? I think some of the things that we talked about were maybe not, like you guys both had like maybe not so much like linear, but like in the same world, in the same industry.
Marketing, advertising
is the word I was looking for. Yeah, if there's anything else that you guys have to say.
I would say, I don't want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I know this is more for like seniors and like getting ready to graduate college, but something that was, if there are any freshmen out there listening to this podcast, like for me, because my major was so broad, it was really easy to find jobs that related to like different parts of my major. So like I had every summer throughout college, I had a different job. I did something different each summer, but it still pertained to my major. So at the end of the school year, when I was getting ready to graduate and put my resume together and, start applying to jobs, I felt really confident knowing like I had a lot of different jobs that I could show that I did. And I know not depending on your major, like you might not have that opportunity.
Yeah.
Or some jobs are just so linear, like you can only focus on one thing. So it really depends on, the major that you pick. But that was just something that I found to be very helpful. And like I felt confident when it came to applying for jobs because I knew it's like I had a lot of different things to show that I did throughout my college career. So I know it's tempting to, go back and work at the restaurant or whatever job you did during high school. And sometimes you have to do that, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you can like network and apply to jobs relating to your major, I highly recommend that because it will, in the long run, it will definitely aid you when applying for jobs.
And a job like this, video production, has so many different facets. You might not know what you want to do. A lot of people that I go to college with, in my major, a few of them are like, oh yeah, I'm just going to like direct after I graduate. I'm like, first of all, love Clemson, love our program. We don't have like, you don't know how to direct.
Right.
Some people do stuff like on the side, like on their own. And I like implore them for that. But like you might need to learn different facets of video production, film and TV production before you maybe like decide what you want to do. I think that's great. But yeah, so I think that's everything.
Yeah, just to throw one thing too, like we've been talking so heavy about video production. Like, we offer other services. We can do the creative development, the script writing, the social media, everything like that. So, like that's where, again, like we're saying in our case, video productions and internships, but really do your research and find out what these companies that whatever you're looking for, what they do and what services they offer, because you see 9/8 video production, but we do so much other things that you can do.
I'm selfishly talking about that because that's like what my passion is.
I get it.
But we do a lot more than that.
I just want to clear that.
And everyone is such an expert in what they do here. And you'll hear from other in this like series. You'll hear from everyone at our company. So yeah. Thanks guys for talking with me. What are some things that you're digging this week, Nicole?
This week. This is something, okay, it's not this week, but it's been something I've been digging for a while. I need to get back into it, but I love collecting like antique cameras.
That's so fun.
Yeah, so I love antique shopping. So I've started a collection. I think I have about 6. Like,
oh my
really
God, I'm going to copy you.
Literally. A good friend of mine. I need to connect you with a friend.
So the plan is to like, once I get my own place, like decorate with them.
That is so fun.
Like have them at like the centerpieces at like a reception. So I have a plan for them, but it's been fun.
Yeah. Do they work or like?
I think not all of them, but I think there is one where I can buy film for it.
Oh, cool.
The film is just really expensive.
Oh yeah. So I shoot on film sometimes. Like I take film pictures just for fun. It is expensive. It's an expensive hobby. It's one of the more.
But it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. It's super fun. What about you, Sarah Beth?
This is totally random and has nothing to do with work, but y'all heard me talk about this around the office. A couple of weeks ago, at least as of when we're talking right now, they announced that we're getting one of these Buc-ee's stations. It's at this gas station in South Carolina, the first one, and it was making big news. And so I'm always following, the news, like that's just on my phone, tons of news alerts. And I'm like, okay, why is a gas station making like, state news? And so I just got back from a trip to see some friends in St. Augustine, and there was a Buc-ee's around the corner, and I saw what the big deal is, and it was like an experience. It wasn't a gas station. I mean, well, there were 200 pumps. So it was definitely a gas station. God. But like the store,
so southern.
The food, I mean, is when
it's a restaurant.
They mentioned having lunch there or something. And I said, wait, okay, so tell me about this place. It's been in the news like this week.
Gas station.
Yeah, that was my reaction. Don't know how picky I am. So that was definitely my reaction. But kind of saying, they mentioned it. And I said, wait, tell me about this place. It's been in the news this all week. And so they said, you haven't been there? We're taking you. And I bought like one barbecue sandwich, one brisket sandwich, one turkey sandwich, like one of everything, and all the fudge and just all the things in the world. These Buc-ee's nuggets, I haven't figured out what they are yet, but they're delicious. Like they're
just ambiguous.
Yes. I mean, there's shopping, there's branded things. This is a whole experience, and it's genius.
Company trip now.
To Florence when it opens, sure. Anderson's going to be in 3 years, but like, I just saw what the big deal was, and like I just can't get over it. And I was telling my mom, she stopped at one yesterday on the way to Texas. So incredible. She's like, no, I know what you're talking about. So like, I don't know why this has me so fascinated, but it's all I've been thinking about. Which great. Makes me seem really lame now.
No, I love it. I love it.
It's the little things. When you get older, it's the little things.
Oh yeah, no.
If you haven't experienced one, you have to.
I will.
Yes.
And is this where I'm supposed to say Buc-ee's is not sponsoring this podcast?
Yes, they're not. But you can if you want to. Call us. Imagine I had the number by heart. That would have been amazing. But anyways, I don't. I am digging.
Oh yeah.
Well, the only thing I could think of, because I listened to it on my way here, is so I took French in high school and college, and like I try to like keep up with it. And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and so I've been listening to the books in French, which is really helpful, and I'm getting so much better at it. So awesome.
Nice.
So I started listening to the 6th book. They have them up for free on YouTube.
Wow.
And so I just listen to them, and it makes because I have to drive like 45 minutes. So it makes my drive a little bit go faster. That's
Yeah.
not English, but it's fine.
We're with
A
you.
little bit go
We're with
faster.
That's how you feel after driving 45 minutes.
Exactly. So thanks guys for talking with me and for
you.
giving some
Thank you.
college students some advice, or anyone advice in their career. This is, we have been 98 Central. You can find us at 98c.org, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, at 98c, and on Facebook, 98c. So thanks for listening. Bye. Are we recording? Okay. I will start. Welcome to the 98 Central podcast, where we talk about working in media. I'm going to restart that.